BC's legislature is 116 years old this week. The complex was designed by a world-famous Victoria architect. And although its construction was fraught with controversy, the iconic building has stood the test of time. Bruce Kirkpatrick now with This Week in History.
On February 10, 1898, British Columbia's new Parliament buildings were officially opened in conjunction with the start of a new legislative session.
This is the invitation that was issued.
MLAs, government officials, and the cream of provincial society attended. There were 65 submissions by 62 architects. Well-known Victoria architect Francis Rattenbury won the design competition. His detailed plans showed who went where, including reporters right next to the kitchen. As building costs rose, the Commissioner of Lands suggested Rattenbury cut back on the amount of marble he was using. The Victoria Times had called it the Marble Palace.
Rattenbury put his foot down and emphatically refused and insisted that the Legislative Hall would lose its sense of grandeur and importance, and wouldn't be the same thing if their cheap invitations were used. And he won that battle.
The construction budget was $600,000. Work did not always proceed smoothly as there were labor troubles and contractor concerns, but the government put employment first, deciding the economic benefit justified the extra costs.
Victoria was in a bit of a depression recession. The economy was stagnant. Rattenbury promised to use local labor as much as possible, so anybody who had any skills or was willing to work was hired. It was a real boost to Victoria's economy.
With marble from Tennessee and Italy firmly in place, Lieutenant Governor Tom McInnes used a golden key to formally open the buildings. The final cost was about $1 million. There was outrage from the mainland. New Westminster's daily Columbian newspaper called the project a piece of criminal extravagance. Premier of the day, John Turner, was accused of financial recklessness and lost the election in 1898. He refused to resign, forcing the Lieutenant Governor to dismiss him. The coat of arms above the main entrance was designed by Canon Arthur Beanlands and includes unauthorized use of the royal crest. The official BC coat of arms was not granted until 1987. Originally called the Parliament Buildings, the complex is now more commonly referred to as the Legislature or Legislative Buildings, existing today as it has for the past 116 years.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, bringing British Columbia's stories together.